Seventh grade, Mr. V here. How you doing, everybody? Listen up. How to write an email. That's what we got coming at you today. How to write an email. You know what? Last year, the year before, this may not have been a critical thing for you guys to learn. But this year, given the learning environment, it seems that learning and understanding how to write a good email is really coming into play. I mean, I wouldn't have seen it coming. My seventh graders in the past, usually, we haven't relied on email writing so much. This is the first time I've ever really talked about it with students. But I think more than ever, it's crucial to being successful. And I talk a lot about communicating well with your teachers, and I think this is probably one of the main ways that many of us are doing it. So let's just dive into, real quick, how to write an effective email. It starts with the subject line. Guys, the subject line is important. It's that first box as you write an email, the small box before you get to the box where you put your actual message. And this is important. Guys, never leave the subject area blank. Never leave it blank. This is what draws the reader in, right? Before the reader even opens your email and they're scanning through all the messages they have, what you write in the subject line is what's going to draw them in. It's what's going to catch their eye, right? So it really should include some key words that are related to what it is you're writing about. Many teachers also like to go back to emails that they've received maybe a week ago or something, and so what they will do is they'll search in their email inbox, a key word to find an old email. And so making sure that in your subject line, you're including keywords that are relevant to what you're talking about, but also words that are searchable. The other thing is our subject line should not be a sentence or two, right? It should be a couple words. Missing homework, question about the test, struggled in class today. See, a couple words that really direct, get to the point, help that reader know what it is they're getting into before they even click open that email. Really, really important. Then we move on to the greeting. Guys, we want this we want to make sure we greet this person, just like in real life. You walk up to somebody, you're not going to just boom, dive into whatever you want to talk about. There's going to be some acknowledgement of the other person, like a hello, how you doing, right? Same thing in an email. Hey, Mr. Villanova, hope you're doing well today. Hey, Mr. DiGiovanni, I hope everything's well today. I had a quick question for you. Right, just some acknowledgement and a greeting of the other person. Hey, Mr. V, hope you're well. I had a quick question. Something like that. One short little sentence, right? It should be friendly, and it just helps us to connect with the reader. That's all. We want to let the reader know that, we're not all business here. We want to know how you're doing. We want to say hello. We want to be friendly, right? After we do that, then we're going to get to our point. And this is important. A lot of people struggle with this. And I know I do sometimes. We need to remember that the people that we're writing our emails to, we gotta assume that they probably have an inbox full of other emails, right? They're busy. They got a lot to do. A lot of our teachers, they teach all day, and when they're not teaching, they're trying to get through their emails. They're trying to prep for the next period. They're trying to work on this and that, and so there's not a lot of time, right? So we want to get to our point. People are busy. We don't want to ramble on and on and on. We don't want to, we want to communicate our point effectively. We want to get in and get out, right? Sometimes people communicate the same point over and over again in their email, and it's okay, I got it after the first sentence, right? So be concise, be right to the point. Remember that people are busy. Don't ramble, and that's going to really help, okay? And then our closing, our closing. We want to make sure that we don't just finish our sentence, finish our paragraph and press send, right? We also don't want to just throw our first name at the bottom of the email, Rob. Nah, it's not. I think there's a better way to end it, right? Just like in real life. I think we should thank the reader. Hey, Mr. V, you know what? Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you reading this. I look forward to hearing back from you. What a nice closing. Hey, Mr. V, thanks again. Talk soon. Just a little something, a little friendly something that you could throw in there at the end, and then after that, I think you put your full name. You don't throw your nickname out there. I don't even think you just throw your first name. I think give them your full name, And I think that's a really nice way to round out an email, okay? Now let's move down here to where I list out a couple basic things to keep in mind. And this is important, and in some ways, this feels even more important. Number one, check for grammar and punctuation. Sometimes when we write emails, and I am very guilty of this, all of a sudden we become this like super informal writer, almost like we're texting, right? And we start using slang. We don't necessarily care if we misspell something. Who cares if the comma's not in the right place? It doesn't matter. It's just, I'm just sending it to this person over here. It does matter. Take your time. Make sure things are spelled correctly. Make sure your punctuation's right. You don't want to have an email that's riddled with errors, because trust me, as the reader of that email, the first thing I'm going to notice is all the errors, and it's going to distract me a little bit from whatever the point of your email is. And it's not that you're getting graded on it or we're judging you in any way, but let's put our best foot forward, right? Let's apply the same standards we would apply to an essay that we're writing and handing in to our English teacher. Let's apply those same standards to our emails. 2, be careful with humor or sarcasm. We all know that humor and sarcasm are hard things to convey when we're writing, right? It's hard to always know whether that's humor or is that person giving me an attitude, right? Because we don't have the benefit of hearing the person's inflection in the voice. We can't see the body language. We can't see the facial expression, right? So you got to be careful with humor and sarcasm. Not to say you can't use it, but if you're going to use it, be a little obvious about it. I think that's a good tip. Be a little more obvious. Subtle humor and sarcasm is really hard in email. Right here, proofread for tone. Again, it's in the same vein, right, guys? Tone. Sometimes when we write emails, we might be writing them because we're feeling frustrated about something or upset about something, and you know, we don't always want that to come across in our email. We need to remain professional, kind, friendly, even if we're feeling frustrated or upset about something. Proofread for tone. Make sure you're not giving off any unintended attitude. And a really good tip here, and this is something I do, I will oftentimes write an email and then have one of my coworkers, friends, colleagues read it to make sure I'm not conveying an attitude that I don't want to, right? Hey, could you take a quick look at this? Because I'm not going to lie, I was feeling a little frustrated as I was writing it, but I don't want that to come across in my email. Can you look at this? And I always get very good feedback from people on that. It's been very helpful. So you can try that. You can ask your parent to review an email. Also, I've had people send me emails and say, hey, Mr. V, I'm thinking about sending this email to Mr. Gavea. Could you just take a quick look at it and make sure that it's coming across in a respectful way? And I would love to do it, happy to do it, all right? Tone. And then the last one, remember who you're writing to, right, guys? And I think that one probably should have went up top, right? Because if we can remember that we're writing to a teacher and not a buddy, then chances are we're going to be more mindful of these other things, right? We're writing to a teacher, not a friend. All right, so hey guys, look, I think right here you got everything you need in order to write a kind, professional, respectful letter or email that's going to be taken seriously. And I think that's what we want. We want to be better communicators. And I think in terms of email writing, it starts right here. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. Love to hear your feedback. If you have any other tips that you could share with your classmates, put them in the comments below. Love to see what those are. Otherwise, hey, keep working hard, stay motivated, and we'll see you soon.